afternoon, good night, wherever you may be in the world. Thank you for joining me for another edition of the Truth Conductor Show. Good morning, everybody. How y'all doing? Happy Thursday. It's a little dreary outside today, so I said, you know what? Man, let me come on here and put some sunshine in this internet since it's dreary and rainy here in Washington, D.C. How y'all doing this morning? Maybe somebody buy me breakfast. Who knows? But, I've been kind of trying to find out where I fit in, what I need to be talking about. And I see a lot of mistakes that people are making. And one of the biggest mistakes that people are making is they're taking things at face value. See, they're not exploring, they're not investigating, or being nosy. They just taking what they're being told as gospel. And it's a lie. And then the sad part is, see, once you find out that what you took at face value is a lie, now you don't want to trust nobody. Now you don't want to give nobody a chance, all because of your lazy ass. See, you didn't want to take the time to investigate. You the one that was scared to ask questions. And now you want to blame everybody else. That's not the way it goes. And in this day and time, with AI and all of this other shit that's emerging, man, you can't take nothing at face value. Those days are long gone and probably will never come back again ever. Where people say what they mean and mean what they say. Okay? All right? And see, and that's what's actually missing, is people saying what they mean and meaning what they say. But they'll tell you one thing to get all of your attention, to get you so hyped up. And then when you do get hyped up, you get a big letdown. What sense is that? You see, and this is what I'm talking about. It's exactly what I'm talking about. Man, stop going for the hype. Stop it. Stop it. Take it, stop that, man. Cause a lot of y'all being manipulated right now. Stop it. A lot of y'all being manipulated. Stop it. And then you turn around and blame somebody else because you were negligent. So that's all I'm saying. Stop. See, when people tell you some things, man, ask questions. Ask questions. Because anything that's a lie is not going to be able to add up. And the way you find that lie is you start asking questions. You see, and you can only tell a lie so many times. Let me say that again. You can only tell a lie so many times. Lies don't work forever. Eventually, they give out. Lies don't last forever. So you can do what you want to do. You can see because and because we got so many people that are taking things at face value. And when they blow up in their face, now they embarrassed. So, somebody here laughing. Yeah, tickets. You're right. Yeah, yeah, that's right. But see, only thing that confirms is I look like my brand. I am the true conductor. So obviously it must be working. You coming up in here trying to be smart, and you just validating. I look like a conductor. That's why they call me the true conductor. Okay. But anyway, stop, man, stop taking things at face value. You're in a time now where people don't have any morals. Okay, they ain't got no morals. They don't have any standards. Whatever way they can get it, they gonna get it. And if they got to lie and cheat and steal and do all that stuff, they'll do that too. They don't have a problem with that. And you just a piece in the puzzle. That's how a lot of people see you. You just another piece in the puzzle. And they're gonna go out here and do and say whatever they want to do and say. And will promise you the world and give you nothing. Oh, let me say, put my headphones on. All right. All right. Let's stop that. Yes. So I'm back. Anyway, um, as I was saying, you can't take things now because because of the amount of deception that's going on. This is why people don't want to trust, don't want to give anybody. Hey Tanya, how you doing this morning? Um, so 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 consequently, we got the chaos that we got in the community because somebody took for granted that what they were being told was true, and it's not. So as a result, and then again, there's not too much information you cannot find if you look for it. Let's see. Let's see. Who is this? Who is this? Let me see who this is. Yeah, get rid of that. 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 Okay. Anyway, I'm back. So, so this is the problem that we're facing. And see, and because people have been burnt so many times, people have been let down so many times, people have been deceived so many times, okay? As soon as they let their guard down, they get disappointed. Why? Because they took stuff at face value. Okay? They took it at face value. They didn't want to do their own research. They didn't want to ask their own questions. Because they basically was following, well, everybody else is doing it. Why don't I? You see, and that's not an excuse because everybody else is doing it. That's not a reason for you to join the same crowd because everybody else is doing it. You know, without any accountability. And see, that's what's wrong with a lot of our kids today. What they see everybody else do, they do because it's working. But yet we don't check that stuff. We don't monitor that. And then we get upset because, you know, we talk about how unruly these children are. You know, how wild, how crazy they are. But what are we challenging them with? Nothing. But foolishness, drama. That's the only thing that they're being challenged with is foolishness and drama. So you know, because as long as you keep feeding them that foolishness and drama, that is gonna keep the pipeline open. See, listen, y'all. If they ever really truly solve crime, you won't need all these police officers and these judges. Think about it. Thank you very much. Think about it. If they really truly solve crime, you wouldn't have to have all these police officers. You wouldn't have to have all these judges, these lawyers. If they truly solve crime, they'd be unemployed. But now, most of them make 6 figures or more because of the stupidity. So they ain't trying to solve crime. They ain't trying to bring you no solutions. Okay? They ain't trying to do that. And still want another chance. You know, sometimes hang around 25, 30 years, still want another chance. But you've never found a solution. You've never found the answer. And then when somebody do come up and start talking with some sense, oh, he crazy. Don't listen to him. Who he think he is? You'll listen to that. You'll take that at face value. But you got to, man, I'm telling you, listen to me, people. You're in the age of AI, artificial intelligence. Don't play with it. Okay? It's not to be played with. Don't take that as a grain of salt. And see, when somebody presents something to you, ask questions. And if they don't want you to ask questions, see, because let me tell you something. When the quote unquote system wants you, they don't care nothing about your rights. Let me say that shit again. When the system wants you, they don't care nothing about your rights. Nothing at all. When they trying to prove a point, they don't care nothing. Listen, them people that they sent to El Salvador, that's for life. You think they getting out of prison in El Salvador? Hell no. They send you down there, that is for life. You ain't getting out. Ain't no getting out. Ain't no appealing. Ain't no justice. Even if we make a mistake, you're still screwed. So when somebody come up and try to tell you something, when somebody come up and try to be informative to you, ask questions. Ask questions. And if they are offended by you asking questions, you don't need to tolerate that. Don't even entertain what they talking about. Don't even entertain it. Because you're wasting your time. And that's the problem. See, a lot of y'all have a problem saying no. Oh, let me say that one again. See, a lot of y'all have a problem with saying no. You don't want to hurt nobody's feelings. See, but you'll walk around with your feelings hurt, but you ain't trying to hurt nobody else's feelings. I know I'm on somebody's street. I know I am. Come on, man. Stop blaming other people for something, the ball that you done dropped. Because you don't want to do your due diligence. You don't want to do your part. You got to be told what to do. You ain't trying to do it on your own. You ain't trying to think for yourself. You just following the crowd. And when they break and run, you breaking because you don't know why you running. But you just break and run with everybody else. And don't even know where you're going. Praise God. Don't have a clue. Because you in the crowd. Because you don't want to ask questions. You don't want to be different. But you ain't happy with what you're achieving. You ain't happy. No, you ain't. So what are you gonna do? That's the $1 million question, man. What are you gonna do? Are you just gonna still keep sitting on the sidelines, watching and hoping and praying? Or are you gonna get up and do something? Because those are the only two choices that you have. And with the way things are going right now, and the way stuff is happening, man, if you don't see the need to try to develop your own independence, because if you put trust in this leadership right here, what's going on now, this management style, you the problem. You the problem. You're the problem. Because you don't want to ask no questions. And if somebody's offended because you asking questions, you need to start asking yourself, why am I doing this? Why am I allowing this? Because you have to teach people how you want to be treated. It's just that simple. You have to teach people how you want to be treated. And when you don't take stuff at face value, when you don't entertain a whole bunch of foolishness, a bunch of drama, people will look at you and know, nah, this ain't the one. You ever had one of them situations where you walking down the street and you see some people, you see a beggar coming. You see him coming. But he'll pass you and get the person behind you. Because they know, they can see the look on your face. I ain't gonna even present that. I'm wasting my time. Stopping asking them is a waste of time. And seeing some of y'all need to have that no nonsense look on your face when you're walking down the street, and maybe, just maybe, people will leave you alone. I almost cuss. I did. So come on, man. Come on, you got your part to play in this. It ain't everybody else's fault. You got some people right now, boy, it's always somebody else's fault. They could never see what it is they doing wrong. But they can see what everybody else is doing wrong. But you can't see your part. You see, and see, and this is, see, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. When you live a righteous lifestyle, I didn't say perfect. I said righteous, which means you ain't gonna cheat, you ain't gonna steal, you ain't gonna lie, you ain't gonna do none of that. That's a righteous lifestyle, okay? When something negative walk up on you, you can feel that energy. You're uncomfortable. You can't explain it, okay? That's why you have to avoid all the drama. Man, let me tell you something. That Diddy trial is demonic. Let me say that again. Maybe I need to do a live on that. That Diddy trial is straight up demonic. Okay? And if you sit there and you entertain and you allow that spirit to get in you, because right now you got a whole bunch of people. Let's do the Diddy. I bet you on some drug corner right now, they got a drug named Diddy. I got that Diddy. Got that Diddy. That's the new thing now. And everybody want it. See, that's how people are. That's what they'll do. That's how they'll do. They'll make a game of that shit. And you'll be taking it serious. Ask some questions, man. Ask some questions. And don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. And anytime a person gets offended because you asking some questions, something's up. They are uncomfortable. And that's your warning sign right there. And a lot of y'all miss it. You see, why why be upset with your haters when they just showing you who they are? Let me ask that a question. Why be upset with your haters when they just showing you who they are? They taking all the guesswork out. They showing you who they are, and you getting upset. You mad because somebody that made your job a little easier, and you upset. Make it make sense. Make it make sense, man. Make it make sense. I'm telling you, that's just and this is because you see, unfortunately, you'll never be able to turn back the hands of time. You know, going back is impossible. If you could go back, then that means you'll never die. If you can go back, you'll never die. You'll live forever. And the population would explode. So people will use that nostalgia as a distraction to give you the illusion, oh, we'll be able to go back to it. No, we'll never be able to go back. Only thing that we can do right now is go forward, figure out what's best. That's the only direction we can go. So but that's your decision to make. If going back to something works for you, then have at it. But you can't go back in your life. Isn't that interesting? People want to take you back to a former time, but you can't in your life go back to your younger years. You can only learn from that, or keep living it over and over and over and over and over again. You see, because you either gonna learn from your mistakes or you're gonna be stuck. And you'll never learn. And unfortunately, there are some people out here that will never learn. So to the public, it's kind of demanding on. It's going to be demanding on you to be able to sit down and distinguish who's who. That's going to be your biggest challenge, because we moving into the age of Aquarius, and see, you got a lot of people right now who practice division, that us and them Democrats versus them Republicans, them liberals versus them conservatives. They do that. But when they start seeing that stuff don't work no more, they're going to jump over on the positive side. And a lot of y'all going to support that. A lot of y'all going just whatever they say, eat that up. And that's where the mistake is. A lot of people, just because it just came on the scene, don't mean that it's the thing. And you got a lot of people that are just not coming on the scene. They just coming on the scene. That flash in the pan. And then when that flash then died off and died, people like, oh, I thought this was the. No, you knew better. You knew from the jump. It wasn't. But I saw a little girl yesterday down at the White House. um, she had this big old poster, uh, give money for some kind of concert. And she had all these pictures on the thing. And I'm like, that's as creative as you can be. That you just gonna get some money for to go to a concert. What about when the concert's over? Where you gonna be? What you gonna do? How you living? See, and because our priorities are so wrong, it's just like you know, and see, you'll see a lot of, especially a lot of women now out begging with little bitty children. When I see a situation like that, that's something that I just pass right on by. I pass right on by. You know why? Cause that baby didn't come here by itself. Some man been wallowing between your legs or still wallowing between your legs. But your first option is to get out here and get on the corner and beg. That's your first option. See, this is why I keep telling you, you can't take things at face value. Because what look like might be something that's downtrodden. You know, there's one restaurant that you can, you know, they got peanuts, and their food is a little too greasy for me, but I do like their peanuts. And I was with my grandson. I said, man, there's a well, let me stop here and get me some peanuts. And while I was standing in line, this white guy walked up behind me. He was in line. Then the young kid walk in, and he asked the white guy. He said, "Man, I don't want no money or nothing. I just want to get me some food. I'm hungry." And the guy said, "No." I said, "Man, come on, get what you want. Okay, I'll buy you some food. I just want to get some peanuts. I was gonna give $2-3 as a tip, you know, because all I want is some peanuts." And so, damn, that food was high. that shot was like shit. I couldn't. Well, this would not be in my budget. And all that grease too, boy. Get grease get in your body and lock you up. But when I left, you know, that boy, he probably going, because I got a receipt here, man. Here's the receipt. I don't need it. I'm gone. And that voice, well, you know, he might get the money. Pick out what that's on. See, I did my part. How somebody else received or for whatever they're needed, that's on them. See now, I'm in a food establishment, right? I've had people come up, man, can you give me $1 to buy some food? What you want? I said, come on, let's go to McDonald's. I'll buy you some food right now. Oh no. I just you can give me the money. I just want the money. I say you don't want no food. Cause if you wanted some food, and I said, come on, I'll buy you some right now, you ain't gonna object to that. But see, a lot of people, all they hear is, you know, can I buy me some food later, man? And it's a hustle. It's a hustle. And you got a lot of people out here on a daily basis. That's what they do. They get out on the street and they hustle because that's what they know works. And see, and you can do this. You can do this either way. You can be, and it's all a hustle, really. Really, it is. That's what life is, a hustle. That's just what life is. Life is what you make it. You want to make it rough, it's gonna be rough. But you ain't gonna get something for nothing. And this is a problem that we got. That's why you can't take things at face value, because you got too many people out here that want something for nothing. Too many. They want something for nothing. They always want to be the one receiving, but yet they don't ever want to give up anything. They don't ever want to share anything. And those are the ones that make the most noise when the shit hit the fan. They're the ones that will make the most noise. It's like when you go to a funeral, and that one that's doing the most hollering, that's the one that's the guilty one. That's the one that when that person was alive didn't have the time. That was always too busy when that person was alive. But now that that person has died, they so full of remorse. you know. So they get in a funeral, boy, and they cut up. I'm sure some of y'all done seen that. Man, you think that I'd be falling all out and shit, man. Get up. Bam! Slap your get up. Hey, man, all that noise ain't necessary. Shit. You know? You start asking them some questions about this person they falling all out over, they ain't got no answers. When last time you saw them? Oh, I can't remember. When last time you talked to them? When last time you went by? See, when they was alive, you ain't never had the time. Now that they dead and gone, oh, you want to get in the grave with them. I'm sure y'all done seen some of that stuff, man. So stop taking stuff at face value. Start asking some questions. That's the only thing you can do. And see, like people come up and say, I guess they think they trapping me or what is a truth conductor? Nothing but a messenger from God. Anybody can be a truth conductor. See, anything that you create that's for you, you can define. Everything has a definition. If you can't define it, it ain't for you. If you can define it, it's for you. And that's the only. Everything has a definition. Everything. I don't care what you as a person. You got a definition of who you are. But most folk don't know who they are. So consequently, that's why they get caught up with face value. Say, I know this, and this is something that A lot of our young kids get strayed, misled with, taking stuff at face value. You can't do it no more. You know, that's one of those things that will always be in the past. It's not you can't do that. You won't be able to do that in this climate. Take things at face value. Cause most folk don't say what they mean and mean what they say. They say one thing and mean something totally different. And you got so many people that's trying to get you in that got you moment. You know, uh, um, that there's a whole lot of folk that want to get you in that got you. No, you didn't get me. See, cause this is my attitude. If you think you should be allowed to think any way that you want to and it be accepted, how come I don't have the same right? Why I don't have the same right? How come I can't think what I want to think? Why what I think and feel that might be different from you is wrong, but yours is right? You can think and feel what you want to feel and it's right, but yet when I think and feel what I want to feel, that's contrary to what you think and feel, I'm wrong. Something's wrong with that picture. Something's terribly wrong with that picture. And I have a problem with it. I really do. So, we ain't gonna agree on everything. We're not gonna agree on everything. But what we do agree on, how come we can't build on that instead of building on what we disagree on? That's how we're gonna change. See, that's good and bad in everybody, man. I keep telling people this. If we can just get the good people to come together, we can stomp this madness out overnight. But good people are afraid of other good people. That's the problem. That's it in a nutshell. Good people are afraid of other good people. So consequently, we got the chaos we got the confusion, we got the division. Because good people are afraid of other good people. That's it. In a nutshell. And as long as they keep us divided, they win. Because good people don't want to come together. It's just that simple. And see, and this taking things at face value. See, that's one of the mistakes good people make is, they take things at face value without really asking any questions. See, because they live a righteous lifestyle. They think that everybody else is going to live the same kind of lifestyle that they live, and that might not be the case. I keep telling y'all, man. See, and especially now, man, if you don't want to follow your intuition, and if you can't connect with that inner voice that's in you, you're gonna miss out. You're gonna miss out. It's just that simple. You're gonna miss out. So, um, hey, what can I say? Yeah, what can I say? But anyway, man, ask some questions. Learn how to don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to think for yourself. Okay, I don't care. See, and so many people, just going along with the crowd because everybody else doing it. Let me do it. But is that the right thing to do? Because everybody else is doing it. Think for yourself, man. Think for yourself. That's what you're gonna have to learn how to do. Think for yourself, and then that way, you can hold yourself accountable. See, and most folk, the one thing that most people are afraid of is themselves. You know, they'll get to know everybody else but themselves. That's the crazy part. A lot of folk are afraid to get to know themselves. You know, but they critical of everybody else. And that's a sad part. See, because when you spend the majority of your time throwing negativity at somebody else, man, that's some negativity you putting in the universe for yourself. That's stuff gonna come back to you. It ain't coming back to me. I don't care how much you talk about, where's your dinnerware and you such a failure and you've been evicted and you've been this and you've been that. Man, that's some negative energy you putting in the atmosphere for yourself. That shit don't come back to me. It don't come back to me. It's gonna come back to you. So, so I ain't in the business of trying to help no fools. Go on, do what you got to do, and see. And I mean, I'm talking about. I got a joker that makes got multiple profiles, and all you do is just get up in here and harass. And I'm like, okay, that's on you. I'm gonna let you keep putting that negative energy in the atmosphere, because that's all that's gonna come back to you. Is that negativity? See, so you can do what you want to do. You can get caught up if you want to, or whatever the case may be. Get away from this drama, man, because that's a distraction. Get away from the drama. See, because you don't need a whole bunch of voices in your head when you're trying to make a critical decision. See, you don't need a whole bunch of voices that you got talking to you, trying to tell you what you should do and how you should do it and where you should go. No, you don't want that. You don't want that at all. So, uh, and see, and this is another thing, because so many people are not connected with their intuition. That's why they take things at face value. And see, and basically, when you taking some stuff at face value, you just rolling the dice. And we've all done it. We've all taken. That's how I got two babies. And that's exactly how I got them two babies I got. I took some shit at face value. I just took a pretty face at face value. Said, shit, let me roll the dice on this one, and came up crap. Yeah, I rolled the dice on that one, buddy. Sure did. We take stuff at face value, man. Yes, we do. You know, and when you take it at face value, boy, you say I'm gonna take a gamble on this one. Let me take a chance. And you know you taking a chance. That's it. It ain't no serious. You know you taking a chance. You know it. But you know, whatever the outcome is, you put yourself mentally in a position that you can accept it. Whatever the outcome may be, you gonna accept it. You gonna go with it. You're gonna be okay with it. You know, whatever the outcome is, you okay with it. When you roll the dice, man. Okay? And sometimes, you know, that's how you learn. You learn what to and not to do. You do. You know? Cause especially when you haven't been exposed to this stuff. You know, when it's new to you, when you know, because it gets you caught up. You know, and it can easily get you caught up because you know you want to have the fun, you want the enjoyment, but you ain't trying to go through the suffering and the disappointment and the hurt and the agony. You see, you want to miss that, but you want the pleasure, and that's what most folk right now, they want the pleasure of the world, but they don't want to give up. They want them both, man. They want to be 1 foot in the world and 1 foot in the gospel, and that's not gonna work. That's not gonna work. And this is another thing. Like just because somebody walk up on you and say you believe in Jesus, man, that's the one you keep your eye on. That's the wolf in sheep clothing right there. That one that always want to know what you believe and how you feel. That's the wolf in sheep clothing. You ain't got to. I'm telling you, that's the wolf in sheep clothing, man. That one that jump up here and say, "Oh, you believe in Jesus?" uh, Boy, I tell you, when they come up on me with that question, man, I'm too old for that. Go on about your business. Okay, go ahead on about your business. See, because if you knew Jesus and you saw the way a person was acting, you can tell by the way they act, whether they believe in Jesus or not. You know, because if you believe in Jesus, you ain't gonna be out here doing a whole bunch of crazy stuff. You ain't gonna be doing a whole bunch of crazy stuff. You ain't gonna be trying to divide people if you believe in Jesus, because he's not about divisions. He's about unity, and you can't have them both. Oh, let me say that again to all you fake Christians out here. You can't have them both. You can't have Jesus and the world. And so many of y'all right now are living in the world, but you want to present a godly image, but you in the world. And that's like mixing oil with water. See, you and see that, and that's the one that this is the one that unfortunately is the one that you can't take at face value, is the one that's presenting this godly image. That's the unfortunate part. That's the first one that you be suspicious of. Because we got so many people right now that are using religion, not God, religion, to influence people. And if you and what they're saying has an element of truth. See, every lie has an element of truth about it. Let me say that again. Every lie has an element of truth about it. That's why they call it a lie, because it's an element of truth. There's a little bit of truth in there. That's the hook. See, so when you get that little bit of truth, you take that and run with it. And you overlook the rest of the story, which is a lie. But you gonna roll the dice on that little bit of truth. Bam! And come up snake eyes. Now you gonna roll the dice on it. And so many times, man, even unconsciously, you got people out here rolling the dice on life, and they're not even aware of it. That they rolling the dice. They taking a chance. They're not even aware that they're taking a chance. So you can do what you want. You can say what you want, but man, start asking questions. Stop the and see when somebody is stroking at your emotions, trying to get you emotional to make a decision, get away from them. Get away from them. Because they got a hidden agenda. Get away from them. Get away from them. When they trying to use emotionalism to move you, get away from that. Get away from that. Get away from that. That's not a good sign. That's not a good sign. And sometimes Like I had the other day, I had this couple come up and lady put $1 in the bucket, and she asked me if I would play Israel's national anthem. And I said, because first of all, I wanted to appear that I'm taking sides. You might hear that, and then don't hear me play everybody else. So I choose not to do that. And so the guy with her starts, you talking about spitting out all this old stuff, and I'm like, I tell you what I'm gonna do. Let me give you $1 back, okay? Give you $1 back to you, and then he gonna bring his little dick energy into the game. I said, man, go on about your business. If you wanna play Israel national anthem, bring your ass out here and sit down the street. You can play it as much as you want. So he gonna go and I guess complain to Secret Service, not knowing ain't nothing. They ain't gonna do nothing. Cause you just got here. I got as much as I help them. They ain't gonna. You think for 1 minute that they gonna listen to him? When as much as I try to tell them, help them with that fence and keeping them kids out that fence. No, man, no. But again, remember the times that we're in. We can't go back. We can only go forward. And right now, it's just not. It's just not wise to just not ask questions, not be curious. Because people right now, unfortunately, what they see working is emotionalism. If they can get you emotional, you should respond. You'll respond. If they can tap into your sympathy, your empathy, you'll respond. And people are doing that on purpose because they don't have a heart. See, you got too many people out here right now that truthfully don't have a moral compass, don't have one, and not looking for one either. That's the sad part. Not only do they not have one, they ain't looking to get one. You know, and when you can constantly just do wrong by people, how you live with yourself? You can't be a happy person. You can't be a healthy person if you constantly, you know, sprout negativity. That can't be helpful for your body. Can't be. Can't be at all. So, man, I'm yet to get $1 in super chat. I got super chat up right now. All right, somebody, who gonna be the first person to send me some money on super chat? Yeah. Okay, Tanya. Thank you. You're very welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. Um, no, and maybe if we start telling people what to look out for, maybe that might make a difference. Maybe it might make a difference if we say, hey, ask questions now. When somebody come up on you with a story, with a request, ask questions. Don't take things at face value. And that's what a lot of people are counting on, that you'll take whatever they say or doing at face value and won't ask no questions, knowing that it's wrong, but they counting on you to take it at face value, and they gonna get some. You gonna have some people that can tell you a story, boy, that make you go through a whole box of tissues, and it be a straight up lie. It's some people out here that good right now, okay, that can make you go through a whole box of tissues with a lie. That's how good they are. That's how good they are. You know? And once they meet their quota, they gone. When they meet their quota, they gone. And will be back the next day doing the same thing. And you got people that will support that kind of behavior. Won't question it. Won't discipline. Won't try to do that. They just see it every day. And you see it. Same person every day on the corner with the sign. Same person. And this is the sad part. This is what something for nothing will rob you of your intuition. Let me say that again, or your initiative. Something for nothing will rob you of your initiative. That's exactly what it's designed to do, to rob you of your initiative. Because you would get so accustomed to people giving you things that you will lose the desire to try to create it or get it on your own. And that's what you do, and it just makes you lazy. That's all it's gonna do. Rob you of your initiative and make you lazy. Make you dependent on somebody else. And that's, unfortunately, that's what a lot of people deal with every day. They deal with that every day. And unfortunately, they feel like you should go along with whatever it is that they're trying to promote or trying to do. You're supposed to agree with it. You're supposed to agree with it. You're supposed to go along with it. You're supposed to empathize, what they're going through. And that very person, when somebody was trying to direct them to do what was right, they didn't want to have no part of that. They didn't want to have nothing to do with the correction, okay, from the beginning. So consequently, now that the shit done hit the fan, it's too late. It's too late. And this is what we dealing with. We got a lot of people out here, man, that just didn't want to listen. Didn't care. Wasn't interested. But now that the shit that hit the fan, all they want is sympathy. They want somebody to feel sorry for them. They want another chance. And in the meantime, person that is doing the right thing, the right way, with the right attitude, can't get the time of day. That person can't get the time of day. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. And a lot of us are falling for that flim flam. A lot of people are falling for that flim flam, man. A sob story. Got my own sob story. Why should I entertain yours? I don't entertain my own. I don't entertain my sob stories. And so why should I entertain yours? I mean seriously. You now supposed to be more important than me? Is that what you're telling me? Come on, make it make sense. Make it make sense. But again, because a lot of people are not thinking. A lot of people are acting out of emotion. This is why you're getting the results that you're getting, because too many people are acting out of emotion and not intelligence. See, sometimes you got to take your emotions out of this decision. Because you think about it, most of the time when you make an emotional decision, it end up being wrong or not the best thing for you. When you end up making a decision out of emotions, and depending upon the circumstance, could get you killed. I remember this guy. He used to live across the street from me, and he moved, and him and his wife, some kind of way another car was involved, and finally see where y'all came from. Let's see where it's coming from. Anyway, he took his wife to work and told her, "I'm gonna go see can I find the car." And he see the car, and for some reason, he decides to run into the back of the car, cause an accident. And the guy that was driving the car had a baby in the back. And he got out and shot and killed him. Shot him. And ran off and left the car and the baby. And DC ended up dropping charges against that guy. Only thing they got him for was illegal use of a firearm. But in the meantime, dude dead. Wife and baby. You see, and see, and this is what I'm trying to. This is one of the things that that's what I'm saying. You take. See, there are a lot of voices in your head that want to be the default voice. A lot of voices, and whatever voice told him, run into the back of it. No. That ain't the right thing to do. That's not the right thing to do. You run in the back of anybody, you wrong. And look, that cost him his life. He made a dumb decision based on face value that was a good idea, and it cost him his life. And there are a lot of people out here that at face value making some decisions, and those decisions are destroying them because they took some stuff at face value and they really didn't examine it. They really didn't think it through. That's all I'm saying. That's all. Think the thing through before you just take it as gospel. Just because they said it, just because you heard it. Don't just take that and run with it. Look at it, man. Because there's so much misinformation out here right now. Oh, let me say that again. There is so much misinformation out here right now. You got to be careful. You have to be careful, man. You just got to be careful. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. Just that simple. You can't because we are inundated with misinformation, that taking stuff at face value is just not healthy. That's not good for you. It's just not good. I don't care how salacious it may sound. Don't take it at face value, because you might end up regretting that. And that's how so many people are being deceived right now, because they just taking stuff at face value and not asking any questions, not, like I tell people every day at the White House, you want to know who I am? Google me. Google Truth Conductor. You want to know who I am? Everything, even my bio will come up. And they'll answer everything that you want to know. Don't just, and you'll be surprised at how many people just see a black man. They don't see the message. Some of them don't even hear the music. They just see a black guy sitting over there with a bucket. That's all they see. They don't even see the message. So and those are the kind of people, again, that they seeing stuff at face value. You can't judge a book by its cover. You cannot judge a book by its cover. And so many people, and that's just taking something for granted. See, taking things at face value because it looked like it should be. But where are all the good people? Where are they? Where are the good people? There's good and bad in everybody. Where are the good people at? That can come together, that can band together, that might not agree on everything, that just might not see everything the same way. Where the good people at? That's got to be the $1 million. Where the good people at? That's what I want to know. Where they at? Those are the ones I want to see. The good people. And maybe if we can get the good people to come together, we can stomp out some of this madness. That's good and bad in everybody. It's good and bad in everybody. And notice, and that's the one thing that you don't hear, folks. Man, where are the good people at? Where are the good people? You mean tell me y'all scared too and you believe in the same Jesus and you scared? Good people. Y'all believe in the same Jesus and scared of each other. Won't uplift each other. Won't encourage each other. Won't promote each other. But you believe in the same Jesus. And you won't speak to each other. Where the good people at? Maybe I should put that on the sign. Where the good people at? That's all we need to do is get the good people to come together. And we can stump this madness out overnight if good people would just come together. Okay? All right. I think I've been on here long enough now. Yeah. Well, I go 9 more minutes. I give it an hour and a half. But that's what we got to do, y'all. We gotta get the good people to come back together. We gotta put back some compassion, and that's not gonna happen by itself. It can't happen by itself. And I think that's one of the, frustrating things that I have had to deal with when I be out with my message is people act like I can make this successful by myself. And I can't. And if you don't wanna participate, if you don't wanna give it a try, then what good is it? Think about that. So and this is the thing about life today in post pandemic, and you're gonna have to be thinking when it comes to this thing called life. You can't just take stuff for granted. You actually got to be thinking to make this stuff work, to make it make sense. You're gonna have to be thinking. You're gonna have to be on your toes. You're gonna have to be observant. You're gonna have to do that. You just can't walk around willy nilly and be to the point where you don't you don't have anything to offer and everything is hunky dory or you're okay with whatever with whatever happens. What does that mean? You know, that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. So, um, no, don't get caught up. Don't get caught up. Don't get caught up in your emotions. Don't get caught up in the sob story, because you're gonna have a whole bunch of people. I just saw where this black girl, uh, she put on where that some kind of way her mother or grandmother or somebody or people started rejecting her because she was a Trump supporter and all of this stuff, and she put up a GoFundMe and got paid, and to come to find out later, she say that was all a joke. It wasn't true. It never happened. I just made it up, and I benefited from it. And saying this is what I'm talking about. People took it at face value that what she was saying was true. Didn't ask no questions. Didn't ask no questions. You see, but took it at face value. And now that you got some black people that saw that it worked for her, what you think they're gonna do? The same thing. Come out as a Trump supporter in hopes to reap a financial reward. And it's a lot of people that are doing that. I, you know, this number 2 guy that's in the FBI. You know, he was a staunch MAGA lieutenant, and man, he talked all that stuff about what the FBI should do, and the CIA. He was an ex-CIA agent and everything, and if he ever got into the position, what he would do and what he would say. And now it turns out that he's had to admit, oh, I was wrong. A lot of the stuff that I was telling you before was not right. Why? Because he was grifting. He was getting paid. He was telling people what they wanted to hear, and because it was so salacious to them, they paid him. That's how he got paid. And now that he got a salary and some benefits, he don't need that money no more. so he can admit, oh, I was wrong about that because I got me a salary now. See, you going to talk about the JFK investigation and all this other stuff. Oh, it's nothing to it. Or Jeffrey Epstein. I was wrong. And now people don't know who to trust. They don't know who to trust. Because the people that they did trust are the ones that betrayed them. Anyway, it's been a great day, man. I enjoyed it. Thank you, everybody. Stop taking stuff for face value. Learn to ask some questions. Ask some questions and trust your intuition. That's what a lot of y'all gonna have to lean on is what is your intuition telling you to do? And that's what you need to start following. Okay? All right, man. See y'all.